Now, everything is complete except for putting the standoffs on here. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a continuity test. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up because I don't know if you guys want to try to come back tomorrow. I really don't want to do another video yet. This is a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but it does take a little bit of time to make things like this. We're going to do our continuity tests, get the solder out of the way. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is get a check on every single one of these pins. I got to figure out how I can get this to hold. I don't know if it'll hold in this vise. It may not hold in this vise, where you guys can actually see it. You know what, maybe I'll put the balance lead protector on there first, and then that way it'll give something more to bite on. Okay, pins go that way. And when you're putting these balance lead protectors on, you want to make sure you're not pinching your wires. Make sure they're in those little slots. Okay, now this should give me enough to bite. So you guys can actually see where these are going. All right, so you guys can see all this. Let me check the camera just to make sure. It looks like you can see everything. And we're going to put this on my continuity. Turn it on. So when we touch things together, we get a beep. I don't know if you can hear the actual beep. So we're going to put this negative lead on the negative side of this right here. And we're going to check across. We should not have any continuity across any of these. So no beep. Then we're going to go over here, and from the negative we should have negative to this negative here and negative down here. We should not have continuity on any other pin anywhere at all. No other pins should have any negative contact. Okay, so now we're going to go to number one, and that's this one over here, which means we should not have any negative contact, and we should only have contact on number 1 down here, which is on the other end. We got contact on number 1, and we should have contact here, and where this joins right here. Nothing else anywhere else. Now we're going to go to number 2, and it's the same thing. Number 2 should have continuity. Got it there. And we should have continuity on number 2 here and down here on the negative of number 3. And no more continuity anywhere else. Now we're going to go to number 3. So should have continuity only on number 3, right there. Nowhere else except for number 3 right here and right down here where that joins. No other continuity anywhere else. Okay, now we'll go to number 4. We should have only continuity on number 4. Nowhere else except number 4 right here and right there on the negative of number 5. No other continuity. Number 5, Should have nothing on 1, 2, 3, 4. We should have something on 5. Nothing on 6. And we should only have continuity on number 5 right here and right here. Nothing on number 6, nothing on the negative. Now number 6 should have only continuity on number 6 right there, and then only continuity on number 6 right here and up here on this positive lead. Everywhere else, we should get no continuity whatsoever. And we're going to double check across here. No continuity anywhere across here. Which it would have showed up anyway. Doing the other ones. Okay, so all that's good. All the continuity checks out. So we can finish off with that. Now, we can put it together with the standoffs. And I'll just speed this up because I'm sure you guys know how to screw in a nut works. If you haven't figured that out by now, I don't know what to tell you. So screws and nuts basically is what these are. And I have to use M2s for these boards that I purchased. Because nothing else fits on these. Now some of the larger boards I have M3s will fit. But these little boards here, only M2s fit. So I'm doing, this is bottom plate. So the bottom, run that through there. I'm putting these on, these longer ones on, these 6mm, because that gives it kind of like some little legs. Plus it gives more bite here instead of just a little nut on there. Actually gives it something to grip on that nylon screw. So that's one. Do the other side on this one. So now you see why I moved those things inward. Go ahead and speed this up. Okay, then we're just going to take this, flip it over, we'll put the screws on the top. Okay, now you got to look in here. You're going to look in here and make sure you have nothing that's too close that could possibly short out. All your wires are in there. You can kind of tuck them back a little bit. Should have done that while I was putting it together. That'll help make them stay in there better. Okay, so that's all good. Nothing's shorting out together. Nothing's close enough to short out. So now we're going to do the actual battery test. And we're going to do a test that is going to show us exactly what we have when we plug batteries in. Now, I don't know how good all these batteries are. I haven't messed with them in a long time. Well, these particular batteries anyway. Plug in 6 1S batteries. All the same size batteries, all 150 milliamp. You have to have all the same size. I mentioned that in the beginning. If you didn't see that, the other parts, links for the videos are in the description. So all these batteries are the same capacity, same battery, 6 across there. Now we got to turn this over, and we're going to check with the meter to see if this is truly acting like a 6S pack. We're going to have to put this on 200 volts because this is going to exceed 20. So now we check this with the balance lead, negative right here. And the meter, hopefully you guys can see that. In the meter, we should get on pin, negative pin to pin 1, roughly 3.7, 3.8. Then we should go up by 3.7 or 3.8, so that's 7.5. Should go up another 3.7, 3.8, that's 11.3, is close enough. Go up another 3.7 or 3.8, that's 15. Same thing, 19. Same thing, 22.8. So that is essentially a 6S battery pack at this point. So now we know it's acting like a 6S, and now we're going to do the charger. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had the camera battery die on me, and then something came up right after that, so I had to come back to do this, finish this off. So we're going to be demonstrating how this works on a good charger. While I was out off camera, I put a heat shrink around my balance lead protector. So I mentioned that before, I think, in the previous video. I use heat shrink. You can use electrical tape around your balance lead protectors to keep them on there, but that gets messy. It tends to come off. The heat shrink stays put. On this 6S, I used a 3/4 inch heat shrink, and it fit on there a little bit snug going on, but it shrinks on really nice. The 1 inch was a little bit too big. So, you know, depending on the balance lead protector size, 4S, 3S, whatever you got, you just find the heat shrink that fits over it, and it will shrink down far enough. And it stays put. Just make sure when you do it, you don't block any of this up here, so your balance lead can actually plug in all the way. You don't want it wrapped around here. Just need it up here to keep it, you know, keep the thing on there. So anyway, all right, let's get the charger over here and demonstrate this. All right. Now, oh, I don't know if I mentioned this in an earlier video, but they do have something out there that's similar to this. It just has the wires. I mean, it just has, like, you know, just your wires coming off of it, you know, out of the plugs, your balance lead, and then it has just the wires coming out. And it's just all tied together right there. And first of all, you don't know which one of those wires is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, unless you know, check them on the meter and then label them. This gives you a little easier, you know, knowing where your channels are. The other thing is, I've seen on forum boards and stuff where they, you know, they say that inside where it's all wired together, all bound together, that there's shorts in it or reverse polarities on stuff. And, you know, you end up having to tear it all apart and redo it. And you may as well just build your own at that point rather than buy one of those things. They cost, I don't know, around $10, I think. But, you know, one of the advantages of this is, first of all, you know it's all wired correctly. And secondly, you know which channel is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just wanted to mention that before we got any further here. I've got 6 150 milliamp batteries, all the same brand, all the same type, and they all have the JST20 connector on them. You want to make sure that every battery you put on here is the same capacity. So these are all 150s. And I would say make sure they're all the same brand, same battery, because there could be a difference in chemistry in different brands of batteries that could pose a pretty big problem. You got a different chemistry in a battery and you mix them with another battery chemistry, you could end up with a bad day. Could start a fire, could, you know, never know what's going to happen. Your charger might even just yell at you, who knows, but I wouldn't take the chance on different brands mixed up like that. So let's plug this in and get on channel 2 here. And it's already showing 22.8 volts, which is a 6S cell. Plug in this balance lead. Now we have 6 cells right there, and it is acting like a 6S pack. So you can do charge, you can do storage, you can do everything functional on every function on this, just like you would a 6S pack. So let's just go to storage. And these are all 150 milliamp batteries, and they are connected in series, so I'm only going to charge them at 0.2 amps, so 200 milliamps. There's no 150 setting on this, so it's either 100 or 200 or 300. You know, I'm just going to do it 200. I prefer to do these 1S batteries at 1C, just because a few reasons. One, the internal resistance on smaller packs is really high. It's just characteristics. The smaller the pack, the higher the internal resistance. And they do tend to get really hot when you charge them at 2C. So I charge them, all these little 1S batteries, as close to 1C as possible. So 200 milliamp. Just go ahead and start this. They're all going to storage capacity. And just for giggles here, I'm going to go up and do charge 6S 0.2. same thing, acts like a 6S cell. So, okay. So let's say I have a bunch of batteries. I've been doing these. I can do 12 at a time on this charger with 2 of these things. Just get another one of these and I can do 12 at a time. But let's say I've done all of my batteries pretty much and I only have 5 left. Can I do 5 on here? Yes, I can with this charger. Your charger may not like this. This charger doesn't have a problem with it. I got a 6S balance lead in there with 5 cells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I make a little jumper for channel 6. And just plug the jumper in, and now it acts like a 5S cell. So it's showing up as 5S, and I can do the same thing. Same things, same capacity, 150 milliamp. I can do everything, charge, storage, all of it. Same as if it's a 5S pack. So that's one option. Let's say I got 4, same thing. Just take that other one off, slap another jumper on number 5. Now I can do 4. I can do 3, I can do 2, I can do 1, as long as I have a jumper on each one. Now, one cell, may as well have, if you only have a couple of these cells, you don't necessarily need something like this. You can actually do something like this. This is an XT60 to a 30, because I do have some 30 XT30 packs. And then I got a 30 to a JST20 adapter. Just plug into that and then plug it right into here. And you can do the same thing with a single cell on this charger. So anyway, now what if you don't have JST20s? Simple solution, you make adapters. So let's get these unplugged. I'm not going to really demonstrate this, but you get the idea here. I got these right here. These all have micro locies. These are for a little 4-channel helicopter that I have. These are 250 milliamp, micro loci plugs, and of course they won't fit into the JSTs. So you make a little adapter, goes from a JST20 to a micro loci plug. Then you just plug these into the battery, plug this into here, and since I only have 3 of them, I would put 1, 2, 3, and then on 4, 5, and 6, put the little jumpers, and I can make it act like a 3S pack. And it just charge it in, everything as if it's a 3S pack, 250 milliamps. I would charge these at probably 300 milliamps and be done with that. Now I have these right here that are 260 milliamps. These are a different brand of battery, different size. So I can't mix and match batteries. Can't mix batteries on here. You gotta have them all the same size, all the same capacity, all the same brand, just to be on the safe side. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're doing this. Do not mix and match your batteries. Now let's say you have a charger that's capable of 8S. Like this one only goes up to 6S. Let's say you have a charger with 8S. You can still make one of these. And here's the diagram again. And all you got to do is just add, get a bigger board or whatever, and add 2 more plugs. Take your XT60 positive and put it on number 8, and then just add your 2 off your 8S balance lead. Add the 2 just the same way this is wired up here. And this is exactly the same way all battery packs are wired when it comes to multi-cell packs in series. Like your 4S, 6S, 5S, 3S, 2S, they're all the same. It's just they have fewer wires and fewer connections. They're all the same basic thing if they're in series. All right, so one other thing, a couple other things here. Do not try to make one of these and plug it into something like this. This is what people commonly have for something like this, or these things come with these little 1S batteries, usually, little USB charger. Do not try to make something like this and plug it into one of these or one of these. These are not designed for this. If you take one of these and make a little JST to plug into one of these channels and you try to charge 6 batteries off of it like that, no. Big no. Don't do it. Won't work. Make for a bad day. Could end up with a fire really quick. These are just designed for 1 cell per channel here. And, these don't take care of your batteries well at all. There's no storage mode on them. There's no storage mode on this. This doesn't even have a readout of any kind for voltages. I've had these things overcharge, undercharge. they're just not accurate whatsoever. And if you're trying to get your little 1S batteries to storage capacity on these, you're watching the little readout, you get it close to storage capacity, 3.8 volts or 3.85, and you pull them off, you get it close, you pull them off, you check them with a meter. If they're not right, you put them back on. You got to keep watching. It's just a pain. This thing, you just turn it on and sit there and make sure that they don't catch on fire or anything. So this just makes everything so much easier, so much quicker. Makes it better taking care of your batteries. I've had 4S batteries last me already. I got some 4S batteries for my other quads that I've had for 3 years, and I've got some brand new ones that the old ones are performing just as well, because I have some pet peeves with how I take care of my batteries, especially since I've been doing this for so long, since I was a kid. But I don't know, just certain things I do with my batteries seem to make them last a little longer. I am going to do a video on that kind of thing, taking care of your batteries, battery safety, stuff like that. I just haven't had time to get it out there. I should have had time during the winter time, but there was just so much going on, forget it. Still this year, I haven't had a chance to go out and fly. The weather has just been crazy. It's supposed to be spring already, middle of spring, and it's just raining and it's cold, and it even snowed a couple weeks ago again. There was some snow flurries the other day. Nothing stuck, of course, but I mean, it's still just nasty, muddy everywhere. It's not stopped raining. I think one day it didn't rain, but it was so muddy outside you couldn't even walk on the ground. So I haven't got a chance to go fly this year yet. Hopefully the weather's going to lift here within the next week or so, and I'll be able to get out and fly. But, okay. One other thing I want to go over, I mentioned this before, is checking polarities. Making sure your polarities are correct when you're building stuff, especially. Anything you purchase, make sure your polarities are correct. Like, I've seen batteries that have reverse polarity on here. You check them with a meter, you put it on the red side, and then you're negative on your negative side, and it shows a negative voltage. That means your polarity is reversed. And you don't know if it's in the battery or in the plug. But the way to tell on the plug is if your plug is correctly wired, on other stuff, then you'll know it's the plug. You just switch your pins. But even things like this is a good example. These I purchased, these are JST2Os, and they already had the wires on the female end. And every one of these on the female side, the red and black are switched. You can't use these. Well, you could use these, just know that they're switched. But you look at this. Let me get this battery up here. This battery is properly wired, and it has the red on the opposite side. So you'd have to switch these pins, and the way to do that with these little things, you just take a little needle or a straight pin you could fit up underneath that little tab. I don't know if you guys can see that little tab through the pack there, but the little tab there, you just kind of gently lift that up with a little needle, just enough that you can slip that pin out of there, and then you just push the little thing back down a little bit, and then swap your wires around. It's not difficult to do. You just got to be. It's very tiny. And me with my big old sausage fingers, you look at that, trying to handle a straight pin, and you should see me trying to fiddle with one of these things. But anyway, make sure your polarities are correct. Anything you purchase, make sure your polarities are correct. Check your batteries, make sure they're correctly wired, correctly, the correct plugs on them. I've actually seen some toy grade stuff that they actually do have a reverse polarity, like in the device and on the battery. The wires are reversed, so that means you won't be able to use those batteries in something else unless you switch the polarity. But then you'd have to switch it back to put it back in that original toy, which you may as well just buy other batteries. But yeah, always check polarities. Always make sure you got everything correct. You don't want to be having anything where you can end up with a fire because you plugged something in backwards or fry something. Anyway, one other thing. When you're soldering things like these, like you didn't have to really do it with this, but with these things like this, when you're doing the male side, has the little pins, and you're putting wires on those, I highly recommend putting the male and female ends together before you solder, okay? And that way it'll help keep these aligned when you solder them. Because these little things will get hot really fast, and the plastic will melt really fast, and you'll end up misaligning the pins, and you won't be able to plug them in later. So plugging your male and females together, then hold that down, then in and out with your soldering iron really fast. Make sure you got a good hot soldering iron, good solder, and really quick, get it on there and get out of it, and that way it won't melt the plastic. If you take too long, it's definitely going to melt the plastic, and it's going to cause a problem. So male and female together, then do your soldering. I even do that with the XT60s most of the time, but I'm able to get in and out pretty quick with the soldering iron, so I don't have to worry about it too much, but I still do it anyway most of the time. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Now, I hope you guys really learned something from this. Like I said, this video is oriented towards mostly newer people that don't know about this kind of stuff. I hope you gathered how, like how your battery packs are wired, how this is wired to make it act like a regular multi-cell battery pack. Hope you learned something about soldering. I didn't really go into soldering techniques or anything like that. Little tips I've given you about things. As long as you learn something here, I'm happy. Most of you guys have been into the hobby for a long time, already know this kind of stuff. Like I said, it's oriented towards the newer people that don't really know. So hopefully you learned something. And I'm trying to get other videos out, but I just haven't had the time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video series. Hopefully you guys can, have a good charger, and you can make one of these things, and it'll help you with your flying your little whoops and stuff with your little 1S batteries, getting your batteries charged up quicker and safer, making sure they last longer, taking care of them better. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.